glass is really colored glass, and before the creation of the windows, glass had been used in Christian churches for domes and mosaics. I think it was about the 8th or 9th centuries that windows were created, which added an extra dimension because you have the light coming from nature's source of power, the sun. And so the artist then can use that light, nature's light, and keep in mind, in those times there was no electricity, so light was, from nature's light, was very powerful and treated with great respect. And as a result, when the sun goes down, the light goes down, then the windows sleep. So it's always important to remember when looking at stained glass windows that it, in fact, is the power of nature that the artist is bringing through to us. And for many people with deep faith, that light that penetrates the colored glass, which is not flat, it has different angles, so the light coming through is refracted out at different angles, changing all the time with the movement of the sun and the earth. And that light may be interpreted by many as the presence of God, but for all of us, excuse me, light is a powerful symbol, a positive symbol. Of course, this art form evolved over the years, from the 1100s, well, right through to even today in Washington National Cathedral, where we have wonderful examples of many kinds of stained glass windows. These windows have a role to play in that they instruct, teach with their imagery, and inspire and enlighten with the powerful symbol of light. But in the church environment, they would be demonstrating stories, Bible stories, as a way of teaching because, again, back in those centuries, most people were uneducated. So symbolism, imagery was very important. But I imagine anyone who came into the churches, I'm sure it was families, would come in and immediately get the message, if it were a Gothic structure with its pointed arrows in the form of arches, get the message to look up and then be quite delighted by the light coming through and also the candle power too. Whether or not they could interpret the message, they would presumably in Western Europe get some help from the monks who were educated, but certainly there would be an image there with the radiance of the light that would reach to them. The artists were more or less traditional in their style in the early times. I think as time progressed, then maybe a little more license was applied, and the artist, such as here behind me, may have moved up to a later period in history, for example, for the dress code, as it were. There are some windows that have very contemporary, very modern imagery, and some that are almost totally abstract. They are so modern. People do interpret things differently, but overall, they all are affected by, and they all appreciate the power of the light, certainly when the sun is shining, and that dramatic, as it were, kaleidoscopic effect of the light moving around the stone. Gloria, Gloria.